Tonight's tactical enhancement is red, like the blood that's about to be shed, apparently. Tonight we're playing Warhammer 8th edition, 2,500 points, and in the continuing mashup of trying out different combos of our armies, Sean has brought the Orcs, and this time he's going up against the Dwarfs. Alright, Sean, what have you got for me this time?
Well, I brought Wizard again, and
This is Wizard the Wizard, right?
Wizard, the character wizard.
Yeah.
He's just a 4th level mage. Unfortunately, you don't have any wizards I can turn into squigs unless your runesmith counts as one.
No, he's got no casting ability.
So I've got a war boss,
Oh, okay.
4th level.
Let's get a close up of this crazy fucker.
He's the war boss. So then I got a Black Hawk and a war boar and a
Oh yeah, standard bearer.
standard baron. I have a great big standard, but anyway,
Classic bit of paper painting, lovely.
which I think I got from someone else. But anyway, so I've got 3 units of boar boys.
Alright, these guys,
Yep.
these guys.
And these
These
guys,
guys.
3 units of wolf boys,
Fucking hell, there's a few things around, right?
and then I got some Savage Orc big guns with the additional hand weapons.
Alright, they're facing the other way, but yeah.
I'm sorry, well, yeah.
I do love, well, that's why we want them facing at the end of the day. I do love Savage Orcs.
And some more Savage Orc regular guys, additional hand weapon. Don't just
Savage Orcs and Savage Orcs.
so ignore the shields. They've got additional hand weapons. They
Well,
use the shields to
I
bash
figured
you.
the Savage Orcs, they just think it's another funny shaped weapon.
Yes, it's probably a good idea. Yeah, and my two giants, which I've had.
Yes.
It's a heavily modified one with a frying pan, and it's an old ogre which I've given boots to.
Looks like
which is-
husband and wife doing some
basically-
cooking in the kitchen on a lovely cold winter's evening.
And they must have done it because I did the fry pan years before the ogre came out, and then I saw that and I said, well, I have to have it.
Lovely. All right. Well, now I've taken slight variation on the dwarfs. We've got 24 iron breakers, 24 long beards as usual, mostly because I like them because they're metal. 20 miners today. Block of 24 dwarf warriors, but I've taken them as hand weapon and shield this time. So I thought I'd try something different than the usual horde. And I got a unit of 23. They were a bit bigger units, but I needed to get some points back for something. What have we got here? We've got General Redbeard, a 298 point lord, so he better not fuck off. Runesmith I don't take very often, but I thought I'd give it a go for a change. The Army Steinholder, Flame Cannon and Organ Gun, because they're more entertaining than regular cannon, although frankly with that shit around I probably should have taken regular cannon.
Yeah, you can change. I mean,
don't do that.
the flame cannon, if it does wound, will do D6 wounds or D3 wounds.
D3. Everything's good. And the Flying Rubber Dinghy. And that's it. That's 2.5 or a bit less than 2,500 points. And I'm rather hoping that'll actually, work.
It'll be hard to kill to win.
Yeah, it will be hard. You'll have to kill pretty much all of them.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's what we're here to do, because it's Warhammer, it's a school night. And a quick note in the terrain, I set this up the other day. If you saw the naval battle, I will be up the week before this one. This is the same terrain, I just got rid of the mat. And I've got this castle here, which I was going to get rid of.
But you kept.
Well, I haven't got around to selling it yet. It's traded in to buy my toys, frankly. But I think since it's here, it looks pretty. We'll stick it on the table. A couple of woods for no apparent reason, because we're dwarfs and we don't have any fires at the moment. And a busted up little castle over there. Now we will deploy and check in after that. Right, so we've deployed, and Sean has a cavalry wing, boars and wolves, giants in the center, and an infantry wing on his right flank, with the wizard and presumably the standard bearers all the way over there, keeping them in line. That's interesting.
Well, they're immune to psychology.
What the savage?
Frenzy.
Savage. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck, that's pretty sure.
And my goblins are leadership 6 and 7 respectively for the
So
orcs.
they need some help.
So reroll is probably a better bet.
Yeah, good point. Now I put my chopper opposite that to do what choppers do.
To die horribly.
Well, hopefully they sit behind you, shooting you in the flank.
That ain't gonna happen.
Then we have long beards on the far right flank of the dwarf line. Organ gun, warriors, flame cannon, and iron breakers. Now the runesmiths and the iron breakers is probably the safest place to be. Standard bearers in the middle of the main line, and a unit of warriors who are going to look for something to fight that's not tougher than they are, because they're only strength 3. And yes, oh, and the general's over here anchoring the right flank. So
The general's over there, is he?
yeah. So these guys get the benefit of the standard and the general. Everyone else is going to have to fend for themselves. Well, I may have to tighten my line. We'll see how we go. I'm not sure that's necessarily a smart thing to do, but I need the killie power distributed as well. Otherwise, I found there's a system with orcs, dwarfs, if you're going to do them as a infantry block army. So you need to pad out the units with enough characters to make sure you get a good couple of kills in. And you need to bolster them with that extra bit of leadership, the odd rune to keep them in the fight for a turn or two longer. If you don't have these things, then your massive investment of infantry is only about 2/3 as effective.
Yes.
So that's why I distribute my characters the way that I do. They're not there just to bash shit over the head. They've got a function in ensuring the integrity of the overall line.
Mm.
And it makes it a nice integrated system, although I've done it so many times now that every once in a while I'll try something different.
Okay.
Oh, and the miners are reading a map somewhere underground by lantern.
Very good. I shall vanguard, if that's all right with you.
Oh, you go right ahead.
Do you wish to vanguard? Oh, you don't have vanguard.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
I had to pull the points back in order to have enough dwarfs to make my line
Okay. So I'm
solid enough.
just gonna move it so there's sort of there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
All right.
We're ready to roll dice and see who gets to
That's right.
go first, which I'll probably lose as you normally as I do.
Oh, so I still got one of my new dice, so they're not tainted by my shit luck yet. What are my new dice?
And I have rolled a 1. Look at where it's landed. You win.
What the fuck is it?
It's a 1. Check it out.
What? Oh, that's not going to help you.
No, it's not.
Well, there we go. That's
It's only
fortunate.
it's 2 plus 1 is 3. But,
Oh, that's right, yeah, because I finished deploying first. All right, lovely. We'll check in at the end of Dwarf turn 1. End of Dwarf turn 1, very short turn. We've just moved our line up a little bit, just to sort of angle where it's going and where it's coming at it. We didn't roll for miners because they didn't turn up till turn 2 at the earliest. Organ gun had a blat, had a misfire, didn't do very much. In fact, he wounded one guy, we did a ward save. And the organ gun did a big supercharged burst and rolled a 2, which is supposed to be better than a misfire, but it still fell short. I needed a 6 or so at least. That's it. Over to the orcs. Turn 1. Orc turn 1. Also very quick. It's funny, the dwarfs have no magic and the orcs have no shooting, so there should be well, they got some pesky archers. I'm not worried about that. So it should be a fairly short game. They've moved up quickly, as cavalry wings like to do. Infantry is forming up here to contest the dwarf line. Oh, God, giants.
They've brought a giant. Oh shit.
Yes, they're annoying. They're going to stick somebody down their pants, I'm sure.
Oh, I'd just love to stick your boss down my pants. That'd be hilarious.
You like the Rangers, do you?
I know. I've seen in tournaments where the vampire count has been eaten by a giant, and it just stops the room at a tournament. It's hilarious.
That is the best outcome for a vampire lord. Yes. Not so romantic now, are you, blood-drinking pervert?
No.
Oh, no. In the magic phase, Sean got off Foot of Gork, which would have smashed something unpleasantly, so I used a rune of spell breaking to dispel it. Unfortunately, it didn't break the spell.
4+.
It must have been, engraved by a human or something.
humans into your holes. It's not very dwarf.
You bought a fake, mate. Then you tried something else, which rolled a double one, so that didn't go off. And then Itchy Nuisance was cast. We dispelled that.
Dang.
So uneventful. Lots of manoeuvre though. I think a lot of the game's going to be played on the this side of the table. On that note, we should move into Dwarf Turn 2. End of Dwarf Turn 2. We're continuing our oblique line. Fortunately, the mine has turned up on the flank to give us a running chance in this shit fight, and the iron breakers are in the fray there. The organ gun fell about 5 mil short of Wazag. Twice in a row he's missed, but still not blown up. These guys moved up. They're not going to like what's coming down the road at them, but they've got to hold the line. Organ gun took 4 wounds off of this guy. We actually rolled pretty good. Now I've only moved these guys up this far because I really want to stop this lot from getting a cheeky flank charge or some shit onto this lot, or otherwise getting through to the organ gun. They're probably going to maneuver in an annoying sort of way in a moment. The fun stuff is over here. The dinghy flew up and blasted 2 of these guys, and the other ones decided they didn't like that very much and fucked off very determinedly. And that's it. Over to the orcs. Right, lots of weird shit happened this turn. It's orcs turn 2, and you'll have to remind me of some of it. Okay, they moved up over here. This fellow tried to charge this guy and didn't make it. That was reassuring.
They rally.
Oh yes, they did rally. Yeah, they're feeling brave now. They're a long way away. These guys got around the flank. These guys positioned themselves to do some damage next turn. Now, one of the giants charged. You'll notice it's not there anymore. It's partly because this one failed to charge, rolled a bit short. The one that did charge is the one that was wounded. It killed one guy extremely thoroughly with a club.
7 wounds.
Yeah, that's one dude. Then we polished off the last 2 wounds with some lucky 6s, and it fell over and killed another 6 guys. It did more damage in death than it did in life.
Should have killed 10. To be honest, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, you did roll a couple. Well, yeah, I reckon 8, maybe 9 on a good day.
Yeah.
So I got a bit lucky there. These chaps moved up, hedging their bets against the flank charge there, which is quite sensible. In the magic, let's see. Now you tried Foot of Gork again, and I had to use all of my dice to stop it.
Yes.
Then what did you do?
Then I failed to cast Itchy Nuisance, which probably would have saved my giant.
Yeah, that's right, because you would have had to
You rolled 3 6s and you re-rolled again.
Yeah,
well, you would have hit, but you would have had to re-roll those to hits.
Yeah, you probably
and to wounds.
You would have survived. Well, the funny thing is, you would have survived having killed one guy.
Or I would have Thunderstorm then.
Oh yeah, you would have too. That would have been annoying. Yeah, okay, you probably did save my ass. This guy cast a spell very successfully and blew himself up, only then rolled a 1 to wound.
That's right. Everyone around me, and the circle was literally...
Aren't you a cheeky little bastard?
And everything went, he farted really hard, and it's like, he went, oh man, and everyone went, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well that happens when I concentrate too.
And roll a 1 to take a wound. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so somebody tried to cast a spell and failed on a double 1. Fuck, did anything else happen?
I got, I just moved forward and moved the,
right.
Moved around a bit. Nothing too exciting.
I suggest this is probably going to be crunch turn, and we will check in at the end of Dwarf turn 3.
Yes, sir.
End of Dwarf's turn 3, I think it was, yes. And, right, we have this weird duel going on between a bunch of Wolf Riders and the Gyrocopter. Find some Orc boys in there, where Sean, who normally fields multiple Gyrocopters, is being very clever in not letting me get free flank shots without running the risk of getting charged in the following turn. So they've moved back here. We both agree that was a very good idea. So it's not
well, I was the one that suggested it, didn't I?
Come on. I was thinking about it.
No, you weren't. You wanted to go forward.
Your counsel was well received.
That's damn good counsel.
So as Sean pointed out, this malarkey is keeping 3 units very well occupied.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to be able to avoid these pricks forever. Now, you may remember from last turn, these guys were hanging around. We blasted them good and proper due to basically lack of anything else to shoot at. The reason there's nothing else to shoot at is that we got my general with the long beers to try and charge the lady giant, and she ran for the fucking hills. In fact, she ran over the hill and far away.
So you can't shoot it now.
11 inches, which is probably a good idea, because that would have messed her up rather badly, although there was an outside possibility that General Redbeard would have ended up down her pants. That aside, running away was the right thing to do. Yeah. This unit also charged her, so it didn't make it. They just moved up their bigger dice amount. This unit charged, actually lost by 2 even on the charge, with a standard bearer killed their champion in a challenge. The champion there issued the challenge, but we held. Over here we charged the iron breakers against these guys. This lot chose to maneuver, and the iron breakers rolled a double 1. That was annoying.
No, it's listened to us a lot.
So the miners maneuvered to be outside the 45-degree charge arc of these guys, so that we can still try and get a double combo charge in. And if this lot charged this lot, provided this lot actually remember to stick around, this lot will get them in the flank next turn. Oh, and the flame cannon fell just... No, it didn't fall short. It actually killed one. Finally, 3 turns of shooting is killed 1 orc. Yeah, in fact, Wazard the Wizard failed his Lookout Sir roll, and but didn't win the bastard. Dear, and of course, because they're frenzied, they're immune to the psychology, the terror of being hit by a burning gush of I don't know, napalm or whatever the hell it is those guys fire.
Damn straight.
So that's it. This is shaping up to be a rather dynamic game, and the shit is flying all over the place.
Oh yeah.
We'll check in at the end of Orc turn 3. Right, filming Orc turn, what is this, 3? On the other side of the table, just for a change of perspective. Now, they charged here, unsurprisingly.
I actually had to. Remember I rolled.
That's right, they failed their frenzy.
Anyway, I was going to show it, yeah.
I think you technically won that fight, but we passed our morale. No, this one was a dead tie. Yeah, because we both rolled absolutely rat shit to wound. That's what it was.
No, you made a lot of saves. A lot of saves.
Did I?
Yes.
Because I rolled rat shit to wound, that's for sure.
Yes.
Rolled really well to hit because we hate each other in the first round of combat, which we must remember for these guys. Over here, last time the Dwarves lost by 2, this time they lost by 3. And they passed just by 1 on the reroll, I think. Huh? We had to do the math very carefully on that one.
Because you would have run. And that would have been all over Red Rover almost. No, not over, but...
No, I mean, we would have blasted them with the flame cannon, the fight would have been happening there, would have been happening there, but it would not have been a good development for the Dwarves.
The battle standard bearer would be dead.
I know, that's never a good thing, really.
No, it's not good. Yes.
This thing rallied.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, now she's feeling brave. Now over here, there was a organ gun there, and they ran that down and killed it, good and proper.
I rolled 11.
Yeah, they rolled really fucking well to charge the bastard in the first place. That was annoying. I was hoping to shoot at them, but the organ gun's done its job. It softened up the first giants enough that we beat it immediately, so I can't complain. Then Sean had a fucking field day with the magic.
Oh yeah.
First he did each nuisance, and I threw all of my dice at it, all 5 dice to dispel it, and they just rolled dog shit and didn't.
That's right.
So these guys have been re-rolling 6s to, well, everything.
Well, your guys, the hex spell is the target unit must reroll any to hit, to wound, and armor saves on a 6.
How long does that last for?
Until the next round of action phase.
So I can't even cancel the damn thing.
Nope.
Bastard. And then what the hell do we do over here?
I get to reroll my hits, and I did a total of 5 hits after you amazingly saved a stunning 6 wounds. Had you...
Did I?
Yeah, and that made a difference. That cocked dice, apparently that cocked dice actually saved your ass. Otherwise
So
the unit wouldn't be there.
We have a rule in this household, and this is absolutely flat on the board, then it's automatically counted as cocked, irrespective of how cocked it is.
Well, that's sick. Okay, all right.
Yeah, these are loose
I'm
rules.
going to.
We've been playing this rule for 10 years.
I'm going to complain about that because there was a 6 over there earlier on, which definitely was very common.
10 years we've been playing this fucking rule.
And you don't seem to apply it when it comes to Shitty bastard.
Oh, fuck.
Go for
we
it.
need more wine.
I need more wine. I am whining. What are you talking about?
When I try to move, it's going to be minus D6 to movement. So
Sure.
when you got movement 3, that's very annoying.
Hang on, let's see what it is.
And it's minus 2
so
to
you're
a
on
3
movement
inch
1.
movement.
There you
And
go.
the minimum of 1 inch movement.
Yes.
So that didn't take much, did it, you stunty little bastards?
No, of course
No.
not.
See, it looks bad for the dwarves because they're surrounded, but people forget dwarves like to be surrounded. This is an optimal state of affairs.
It's also called an orgy.
Well, we don't talk about what happens to the lower levels of the hold. You got a beard? Yep. You girl? I don't know. We've all got beards. About being as soft as your wife's beard.
Oh, that's nice. What?
Right, so I think it was Dwarf turn 4. The tactical enhancement
Yes,
is...
it would be your turn 4. Yes.
See, well, one doesn't exactly sip this kind of tactical enhancement. It's catching up on us.
No, it's not.
This chap manoeuvred and blasted 3 orcs, killed 1. These guys shuffled very slightly to get in the way of the charge of these guys against whatever's up there.
Naughty boy, you.
Yeah. Now, one thing I should remember, if I didn't comment on it earlier, is that this flame cannon did its damnedest to blast this little prick all by himself over there, and you know what it did? It fucking misfired. The way this thing's rolling today, it's lucky it hasn't exploded yet. These guys flank charged, and interestingly, even with the flank charge,
I rolled 3 to hold.
3 to hold. They needed, what is it, 5 or 6 or less, and they held. So that's
4 or less, I think. It was something stupid.
whatever it was. There's a bloody good fight going on over here, which will be fucked up by that thing arriving.
I'm no longer frenzied. You'll be glad to hear.
But then we will. That's useful the way these bastards fight.
But the bad news is there's a giant on your flank.
There's a giant in the flank. Now, if I manage to chase off these pricks when they charge me, then that'll be fine. I'll attack it. But otherwise, that's going to be a problem. The good news is that over here, we did get the rear charge with the miners, which is what I've been trying to do all day. And we were all a bit light on for kills, to be honest. It's been that way today in this fight. But I suppose what that means is the rear charge had even more effect than otherwise would have. Caused this lot to flee.
No, it just got away.
Yeah, they rolled 9. These guys actually rolled 3, but they're really, really close. But even though they had to run through their ironbreakers, the ironbreakers still didn't catch them. Stunty little bastards. And the miners are well outside of the chase. So if they rally, then the fight is on for young and old.
Yes, but we're not frenzied either.
No, which is reassuring. So we have the momentum. Well, that giant could be a serious disruptor to the momentum. We'll see what happens in Orc turn 4. End of Orc turn 4, possibly, if I'm keeping count correctly.
Yes, it is.
Well, what a shit fight. Okay, these guys rallied, which we rather thought they would, but it's still not great. What magic did you get off?
You know what? I forgot. I could reroll to hit wounds. I'm a fucking idiot.
No, it doesn't matter. You won the fight anyway.
Yeah.
Over here, these guys managed to fend off these blokes. With assistance from the standard bearer
And an angry giant.
and the giant, who both crashed into this unit, which unsurprisingly broke and ran. They're running for a cliff at the moment.
The giant killed 8 figures, or 7 or 8 figures.
Yeah.
Which won the combat?
Because the standard bearer only got 1. But the giant just had a field day bashing things up.
He jumped up and down on them, and then he stomped them.
He did. This guy got a few. This unit got a few. They ran. They got 2 higher. So they got away. These guys got 1 higher. They rolled actually quite well. And the standard bearer rolled okay, but not quite that good. I'd better rally or I am in deep shit. On the other hand, that standard bearer is in a good position to get charged by my whopping great big unit that'll clean him up very easily.
He will run away.
Well, let's hope he keeps running away. Because
Screw
I
that.
can overrun into the fucking giant.
I am not falling for that trick.
Well, if he runs away and the giant runs away, that's fine. So the magic was pretty good for that turn. Nothing particularly outstanding. Mostly you got a special buff you didn't use and you killed one of these guys.
And I stomped your...
Oh, that's right. You dropped
seven guys on the Gorka, which deviated 6
foot
inches.
of Mork. You aim for these guys. You hit these guys.
If it went the other way, I would have lost 7 guys.
That's right.
I know, it was a bit risky.
But it worked out well for you in the end, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a bit rough at the moment.
We'll see what happens.
Yes, well, we're going to have to dive into the fray and see if we can make a decent meal of it. Right, Dwarfs turn 5. Rubber Dinghy fucked around here, had a shot at these guys. Did I do anything? Did I kill anything? 1? Did I get 1? I don't know. We shot, we did very little. These chaps rallied on the cliff top and reformed to be a tighter formation so they could point in the right direction. These guys rallied, and there's so few of them, we formed them up nice and tight as well, which meant the flame cannon could shoot past them and blasted them good and proper with oh, how many did I kill? I killed a few.
Killed 5.
5, it's not bad.
Did 7 wounds, I saved twice.
Yeah, that's well, half the unit gone.
Yeah.
And I guess they passed their morale. I can't even remember if we rolled it. The good news is over here, these chaps crashed into Wazard the Wizard.
And killed them, just.
Yes, it was another good, solid, close fight.
Mm.
But then, fortunately, Sean rolled crap on his
I missed
morale.
I missed by 1.
Yeah, just lost it. And they just caught them by 1.
Yes.
So Wazug and his unit are dead. That's good. We'll see what happens here. They might still get wiped. They may still rally, forcing me to fight turn 6. There's already a charge marker in place for this thing. We'll see what happens there. It's still on for young and old. We'll now move into Orc turn 5.
This is a hell of a game. Look at the dead pile.
Right. Yeah, this is turning into a shit fight, as Sean said. That's the dead pile. Now, what the fuck happened? These pricks charged the gyrocopter, killed nothing. The gyrocopter killed one of them, but they still won in the fact that they charged and had charged off of a hill and have a musician.
Yes.
So all I had to roll was basically, what, 8 or so, maybe a 9.
Did you roll a 9?
But I rolled a fucking bit higher than that, and they chuffed off. Rolled bugger all for the chopper flying away, and a bunch of dickheads and wolves chased down a helicopter and killed it.
Yes, excellent.
Over here, these pricks charged up the rear because I didn't realise they could actually charge up here. That was my fuck up. I forgot how the terrain worked. So they got up the hill. They actually lost one because we counted this is difficult terrain.
I gave it to you.
Because
See, I'm a sporting gentleman.
we had agreed that the cliffs would be difficult terrain for cavalry and impassable to wield. And I'd forgotten this and just assumed that they were impassable because that's what Sean had suggested before I decided to be gentlemanly.
Yes.
So they lost one, but the 3 that got in there killed a couple of guys, and we killed nothing in return. And the last of that unit that had rallied last turn has been fled and chased down. That's unfortunate.
Yes. So far, 2 units to you, and yes.
Yes.
I don't know how it's going to go.
You've got my cheap units, so we'll see what happens. Now these guys reformed. These guys moved up to keep these guys busy, so that I don't go chasing off after the standard bearer.
Yes.
Magic, you dumped itchy nuisance on those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Scratching like we've been down the wrong hallway in the hold. Anything else? Nope.
Nope.
Okay, well, itchy nuisance is a bit of a problem. I'm going to have to think about my charge options. Anyway, we're going to go into turn 6.
He's like,
We're interrupting usual filming to announce that the flame cannon, which has been struggling a bit today,
it's okay.
fired at this pissant little 90-point wizard for lack of anything else to shoot at, risking a misfire. hit the prick, and then rolled a 1 to wound. That little bastard survived. Right, I feel that I'm snatching defeat from the jaws of victory here. After the staggering loss of a chopper, we crashed through some Goblin Wolf Riders because they were there. They actually stuck around to fight but didn't achieve much else. We fired that flame cannon, as I noted earlier, and it failed to kill anything. These guys turned around to fight, but there's nothing to do because it's turn 6. The miners crashed into some orcs here. We went 4 for 4, so I won, but that bastard stuck around. He rolled snake eyes to morale. It's not the first time you've done that today. You've had some really good morale rolls.
3. I rolled 3 and a 2. This first snake eyes, but I rolled a 3, which is just as good.
Yeah, doing pretty well. So there's a bunch of pricks that are still here, unfortunately, somehow. That's a bit of a problem. Now he's going to roll to charge. He needs we'll check.
6. 9.
Bastard. All right, we'll see what the wash up is of that in a moment. I think we know what it's
Jump
going
up
to
and
be.
down, sir.
Okay, it's the end of turn 6, and oh my fucking god, what a shit fight. The giant charged in, which I had not anticipated earlier in the battle, but there's not much I could do about it. Standard bearer ran around, didn't achieve anything. We're still wondering what happens when a standard bearer, like an army standard bearer, chooses to flee.
No, he's fine.
Did he even choose to flee when he fled?
He chose to flee. Of course he's going to flee. It's from combat. If you flee, if you get broken in combat, they get run down.
Well, we may have to look at that later. Anyway, that may be academic because the giant came in, killed 4 of these guys, then the last miner and he's the standard bearer, and the standard bearer of that unit of orc had at each other and did nothing. And then the giant killed the last dwarf with Thunderstomp. That was most unfortunate. I really would have been better off charging the orc boys in hindsight, but I wanted to reclaim my army standard bearer.
But then you would have been charged to the flank by my... then again, you never know. You would have maybe cleaned up the...
Well, if I cleaned up there, it would have been a panic test for these chaps.
True.
Yeah, look, when we charged, we didn't quite do the job. We were 1 guy down, and that was the difference, I think, between retaining this unit and getting our guys back versus not doing so.
Let me get my calculator out.
We're going to have to do some maths. I'm going to check in just a moment after we've done some maths.
Jesus Christ, that was a... Probably shouldn't charge you, but I had to.
Right.
A frenzy.
After some quick math, we've worked out that we've...
1, 2, lots and lots.
I have scored... actually, you know what? I didn't take into account the standards for your stuff that I took.
No, they're all dead because you don't get them because guess what? You gave it to your miners, the standard, and I got it back.
They took a standard.
They took the standard which you had on your miners, which you put on your miners.
They took the standard that we took from the guys that we ran down and killed.
Yeah, and that's the only one they took.
Well, I didn't factor that in. Anyway,
It's
I
25
don't think it makes a
points.
huge difference because I think we killed 1329 plus or minus 25 points of orc versus 1251 of dwarf, factoring in all the standards because I've lost 150 points worth of standards. So we get 100 bonus points for the army standard.
Yes.
And then 25 bonus points per unit killed, which we don't recover.
Yeah.
So we're hovering around approximately 100 points difference, give or take, depending on whether we've counted the number of standards correctly. And I can't be fucked working that out. It's a tie.
It's within
100 points is a tie.
It's easily within 100 points.
And
well fought tie.
What a remarkable shit fight! That was astounding.
That was a good game, actually.
I had you almost, but I fucked up when I charged this guy, trying to finish him off, trying to get my guys back to recover those 125 points worth of standards.
If this unit had stayed, you were fucked. You would have lost. You would have smashed.
Yeah, no, I think you were suitably reduced at that point.
But that you got me because I had to charge.
If that unit had passed its frenzy and decided not to charge, it would have been a different fight. If I'd gone for the ball boys there instead of for this chap, then your giant may not have got in. It would have been a different fight. Lots of things that could have gone lots of different ways, but that's all counterfactual because the fact is,
it's a draw.
we slaughtered the shit out of everything on this table over 6 turns.
I don't have a lot of troops left.
Neither do I. Well, that's probably more of a problem for long-lived dwarves than it is for. We better find those soft beers in the lower hall tonight. Going to make up the population problem.
Yeah, you played it well. It's
well,
good.
likewise,
I mean,
you played some cunning shit, and I must admit, after a bottle of wine, I may have been neglecting a few of the subtler points of the game.
Excuses now. Is it?
Yeah. It's the only way to play this game.
I've also
frankly.
drunk a bottle of wine too.
You don't want to be serious about what we're doing here.
That was good. Well done.
What have we learned?
I think you've got to get a bit of luck. Always goes a long way.
Well, it certainly does.
I got a bit lucky, and
You got boxcars, one of the magic faces, and like turn 5 or something. That's a bit rough.
didn't really. That wasn't a great magic phase. Some of the earlier, I was really 9s for my magic phase.
Yeah, you did quite well in the magic.
And then the first 3 turns, but I had 2. I think turns 3 or 4 were outstanding.
Yep.
And they really shifted the game in my favour.
Yeah, Itchy Nuisance really is.
You love that spell. You just go like,
It's fucking hilarious, but it's so wrong on so many levels.
It's like, he's not casting that again, is he? Oh, not again.
Well,
You got the sticky tape ready.
Alright, after a brief interruption in filming, because I think there's something wrong with my phone, possibly there's too much video on it, I've got to delete some files. Yes, so yeah, Itchy Nuisance is a fucker, and on a 5+, if you cast a spell successfully on a 5+, he steals one of my remaining dispel dice and throws it into his power pool.
I did that 3 or 4 times.
That's really powerful, and what it incentivizes is to throw spells out that are not necessarily devastating, but they're easy to cast. Yep. And you wouldn't normally waste your dispel dice on them,
but if you don't,
yes, he turns into a another level of bastardry, frankly.
Yes.
Well, that was. What else can we say about this game?
The dwarves are really hard to get points out of. I think I'm going to get a bit lucky to beat you because you've got so many points. I mean, you've only got. I've killed nearly 2/3 of your. I've killed 3/5 of your army.
You killed.
And that's a lot for you.
You killed 2 of the standard units.
Yes.
Now this extraordinary expensive unit counts as a core unit. So you killed both core units, and you killed the miners, which are technically a special unit, but actually they're nothing special except for their ability to flank.
And that got you the big unit here.
It did.
So you got the points there. So the miners are great.
Well, there's a reason they're special. They did their job.
Yes, they're very good.
But then they're very vulnerable to counterattack.
So because you only have a 5+ save.
Yep.
Because you only got heavy armor. So when anyone hits you, it's not.
So you killed the cheap units. The expensive units all survived. Apart from my standard bearer, who he got ran down and then he fled. Motherfucker. Oh dearie me. No excuses.
I'm pretty
for that.
happy with that result. It's always tough.
I thought I had a win today. I felt the need to. I think we're playing some very even games. I think you're probably ahead by 1 victory.
No, about 4 or 5. I think.
Oh yeah, good luck. We have video evidence of this, you know.
We do. Let's see. You're. But we.
Either way, you're a little bit ahead, and I was hoping to redress the balance a little bit. But I must admit, I can't complain. You played a really good game.
You played a great game. That was hilarious. That was great fun.
Sean's a dangerous motherfucker in this game because he knows how to get every last little bit of bastardry out. How to get that little charge in that other people wouldn't think of, but it gets you 230 points in this case.
Well, I did play the Masters, and I do go on the ETC, so I do know my shit.
I must admit, I played half a dozen tournaments down at the local club with 12 or so guys, so it's not quite the same.
I've probably won about half a dozen tournaments in my life.
Well, there you go.
I won a GT. I've won 3 in 3rd edition. I won 3 in 1 year in 3rd edition.
That's cool.
And I've won a couple of others and come second in a few big ones.
See, look, some of the people watching this might not have been alive during 3rd edition.
Oh, 1992 was a great year. Yes.
Yeah, well, for the wine you're drinking, or for...
I wish the wine wasn't at me. I wouldn't be able to afford it. Well, the models that you see now are models that... my very first model was my Orc War, my Goblin So what is it? Yes, this is. So I have a nickname called Nasher, and my first figure I ever painted back in 1980 is that guy.
So this is the first guy you ever painted.
And that's that's
Alright,
Nasher.
see if we can get some decent lighting on this prick.
That is Nasher. That is my.
Nasher the Underbite.
And he's my first figure I painted and bought.
Very nice. From
1986, 87 probably.
Well, there you go. There's some heritage on the board here tonight.
Yes.
Did he survive today?
Yes, I think he survived. I think most of them survived. I think all the boar units survived today.
Actually, the boars did a good job today.
They did okay. They did all right. Yeah.
Well, they killed a cannon and a unit of infantry worth 240 odd
Well, they
points
cleaned
to
up.
take. Yeah, they cleaned up the riffraff, but that's the thing. I mean, one of the things that determines whether you win or lose this game is
Well, I
whether
would've
you
lost the
think to
game.
do those things.
Would have lost if I hadn't cleaned them up.
That's right. It's not just about biffo the big units, it's about forward planning a turn or two in order to clean up the riffraff, take the
Now, of
plate
course,
charges, etc.
If there was table quarters in this, I would have won. So I would have captured 2 table quarters.
Oh, fuck, I don't know,
Fuck,
maybe.
fuck
We'd have
off.
to see what the rules are for that.
No, don't worry.
They don't exist right now.
I'm shit stirring him. It's what
Yes.
time is it?
I don't know, but Sean likes his psychological warfare, and well, he's sober enough to drive. I'm not.
I am. I'm quite fine.
All right. Well, look. Thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, etc., etc. Tell your friends. And I've got to go to work tomorrow, so
No, you
time
don't.
to call it a night.